Om. Namaste, welcome everyone to Satsang this morning. Welcome, of course, to all friends who are joining us from around the world for today's Satsang and each day of this retreat. So, huge welcome. You're not outside of our hearts, maybe in distance, physical distance, but in heart, no distance at all. So welcome, everyone, and let's see what happens today.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
First of all, I would like to thank you for everything. Again and again. Although I know or I can never thank you enough. I don't know if you remember, I'm the kind of troublemaker from Zimar who lost the isness there.
Who claims to have lost the isness? It's a very unique achievement.
A lot has changed since then.
Yeah.
And quite exactly as you predicted, even then, by the end of the retreat, something really significant has changed inside. And the space returned, that one that never left. And gradually, when I observed myself as the formless awareness, and in relation to the space, at first I was just observer, apart from the space, and I had to remind myself, as like, Mooji says that I am that, so yeah. Okay.
Very good, because what you say there is worth repeating, because it's actually not that you're observing the self. It's not like that. It's just that falls very easily into a traditional way of speaking, because the mind cannot. It's always like the functioning of perception implies a point where there's the subject and a point where there's the object, and so there's one thing observing another, which is not the case when we speak that now I'm aware of the self. That I'm aware of the self. Be careful, the mind doesn't capture it and feel like I'm apart from the self being aware of the self. It is only the self being aware of the self. Is it not worth to be clear about that? Because it can otherwise feel like, yes, I'm aware of the self. So the speaker and that which it claims to be aware of, are they two? You see, this is the only time that speech is allowed somehow, but it must be clarified that it's not one thing observing another. In every other perspective, that case is true. I'm aware of my mind. I can see the patterns. There's a distance, there's a gap. And from that space we can say, well, if you're observing that, you cannot be that. All those cases are right, except for this one time when it is clear I am the self. And yes, I can see this. No, I cannot see it. You see, that's the one time I would put. And the example I gave, which I think still is valid and helpful, is when I say that if you take the example of a sharp sword or something, it can cut so many things, but it cannot cut itself, because it is one. It is one unit, not two. Or the eyes that can see so many forms, but the eyes cannot see themselves. You see? Or a scale that can weigh so many objects it can weigh, but itself it cannot weigh, because it is one. Similarly, we are one. You cannot see yourself, not in a, that's why I call it a non-phenomenal recognition. You see why? So it's not, I am looking at the self, oh yes, because then who is looking at the self? Who can do that? And then even the statement, yes, when I'm in the self, who is speaking? Is it the self? Is it two selves? What is it? You see? So this becomes more and more clear, and experientially. When it's experienced and verified inside the heart, you see, when you speak again in this manner, it doesn't seem right in your mouth. You see? It doesn't. It's like trying to chew a stone or something. Sometimes you will not be able to say some things anymore. If they have really landed in your heart, that understanding, some words you will not be able to speak. The mouth won't help you. You see? This is when the understanding happens. Or if you speak them, they will feel, no, it's not right. And something will move to correct it. So I'm happy you mentioned that point, you see? That you're aware that it's not that, okay, that I'm seeing the self. You're aware that there's only the self. And that you say, well, even if it appears to my mind that, then because Muji says, yeah, okay. That's already a great faith, and that will combust into direct experience very quickly. You see? So, it's very good.
Actually, it did, very quickly. I would say in days almost. One day I just found there is just nothing but the awareness too.
Yeah.
And nothing else that would be observing anything.
Nothing else.
Nothing else observing.
Yeah.
Anything. No observer. Just that. And that was.
Everything becomes simple then. Everything becomes no arguments. Everything is reporting to, arising in, appearing in, disappearing in. You see? If you are aware that you are, if you know you are the awareness itself, then even though in the field of the manifest there is living and dying, and then your living and dying will happen in the awareness you are also.
Yes, so when I kept marinating in that, I found that unchanging spot inside that observes the thing coming and going.
Yeah.
And that was really another amazing step for me.
Yeah.
And
is it really a spot? Is it really a spot?
I mean, you call it the polar star.
Yes.
It's just it's no spot. It's just a sizeless, or it's nothing. Just like something that doesn't change.
Okay.
Doesn't change.
Yeah.
And when I just few days found out that I was approaching the thoughts that were still coming. The flow was stronger or weaker, and I was still kind of trying to let it go, or not avoiding it, but let it go and just hope that it will decrease.
Yeah.
And always just kind of reprehend myself that
let me give you now, at this point, given that you are speaking like this, I give you now some very quintessential pointing now. For you, you should not worry so much about the traffic of thoughts and sensations and what they're doing to you, because the more we look at those, then they are relating to a phenomenal perceiver. Okay, who hears me on this one? Yeah. So it's not so much that you know, you're watching, oh, this thing is coming, and then this thing is happening to me. That was earlier. Now, you only watch the eye, because it contains everything. It's the seed out of which everything is coming. It is the original seed. From it has come the second seed, the seed of personhood. But that tree lives and dies. But now you watch the eye. And when you look at the eye, you'll see if it is presenting itself as a phenomenon. Is it phenomenal? Is it the person? Is it the sense of presence? Or is it the absolute speaking? If you catch each time, you see, something you said, yeah, now this thing is happening to me and I don't know how. So who is speaking? Who is speaking? You see? Not what he's speaking about. That was earlier. What he's speaking about? Oh, you're thinking about me. Oh no, it was her. You see, this is in the minefield. You know, now we are coming out of that. Now you watch who is the subject to this proclamation. This is very important that I'm able to be saying this to you, because until there is the capacity to really hear this, it won't be spoken, you see. And it's not deliberate. It's not say, today I want to talk. No, because you have said what you have said now, then I can say now to you, don't so much watch the stories and the thing and this is coming and the relative world of interactions. No, you watch I. Because first arising, the firstborn is the feeling I. Watch what this I, if it is what shape it's taking, you see. So far, in most of our lives maybe even, it has adopted the position of the person. And it's been comfortable and uncomfortable as the person. This thing happened to me and it was so wonderful. Oh, I had the best, it was so good. And I was meditating and I saw all these beautiful lights and I saw all this thing and then this thing turned from white to into purple and the purple come right here. No. For you, no, you don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That is people maybe searching for, you know, a spiritual experience or something. But that's okay, it can happen as well too, because all this, once the lid is taken off the consciousness, it will dance in all kinds of ways. But for you, it doesn't matter what color they have, that's relevant for you. What is, to whom is it arising, you see? The sense of, this natural sense, the intuitive, subjective sense of being, you see. If it is from the person, yeah, and so on, so on, so it's a bit more personal. If it's personal, it better be very light and playful. But now you see, as you start to watch the sense I, when it settles down into just the vibration, the sense I am, it's already in the orbit of hisness. And it becomes very quiet. It is not a negotiator. You see, it is not. It's not fixer. Just because it's aware of itself, everything takes the proper position, and everything comes into natural alignment. This is the power of consciousness. Gradually watch this eye. What is watching I? Don't jump too quick. Be one with this I, the I that is not jumping about, not the I person. First, really be established in the I presence, the sense I am. The I am without history, who is not attached to the concept of future and change and so on. It is the stable. This is the polar star feeling. From here, life is flowing, everything now seems to be moving in a more graceful way, you know, in obedience to that principle, you see. When you're in the position, naturally, unforced, to be observing even the sense of presence. Naturally, you're in the unqualified state. This is the wordless, the uncreated, the unfluctuating, the imperishable. These are words that they don't touch it even. You cannot have conversations about that. You can have conversations up to the point of the I am. What I tell you right now, we don't even have to speak anything more today even about Satsang. If you can take it away with you and marinate in that. Because it will be the mind itself that says, yeah, okay, and okay, I've got another question. No. This is going to eat up all your questions, all your doubts. Yes, if you understand, at least if it resonates with you, then don't share that with another question. Don't touch another idea, because it will it will appear to dilute what I've said, but it will only, that dilution doesn't really happen. What will happen is that the mind and attention will go into a state of fragmentation, and you will not be able to hold onto the words I speak. What I say to you right now, it's like you trying to dive to the bottom of the ocean, not be able to do it. And I'm going to give you a big stone. You hold on to this stone and jump. And don't let go of this stone. It will take you to the bottom of yourself, so to speak. When I meet someone in whom this is arising, this subtlety of perception, I can say this. It comes spontaneously, even unplanned. Don't need to watch the life. Don't watch the world. Don't watch the person. Watch the sense I. Because out of the I springs the world. I'm waiting for such moments, you see, to share with you. But while we are busy picking the fruits of the tree of existence, you miss this. Now I've said it to you, I don't want to let it go now. Because anything I say now, for this moment, it's going to be cooperating with the old regime of identity. I don't want to talk about your troubles. We have surpassed them, if you hear what I'm speaking. Now, not only to hear now, but now marinate in it, what it means. Go into a corner somewhere, find a tree, go under a rock somewhere, sit in it, and stay with this. Watch what I'm speaking. Let them be proven inside your heart what I'm speaking. And so much because grace has allowed these words to be issued today, I don't want to go on anymore. I don't want to talk about it. Sometimes I've had these conversations. I've had a conversation one time with the friends in Israel. We were talking, Satsang, everybody gathered together. Halfway we got to this something point like this. We call off everything else, no more. The evening is closed. People are arriving late, not too late to finish. we could not go further than that. Stay now in this, and if you understand, if it's what I've asked you to do, go and be with it. Because for so long we are talking about life and where I want to go, and have you read this book, and yes, and this thing is happening. When my mind comes, all of this. One time I went to the doctor not long ago. No, actually it's maybe a couple of years now. First I went here. This for me about time, I don't know. But I went because my ear was getting blocked, Every so often it gets blocked. And then they gave something now, some warm liquid to remove something, and then they wash out, and she says, you seem like a person who listens to a lot of nonsense. So maybe nature is trying to stop it. Nature's cotton wool is wax, so I looked, it was like some rocks. If there were gold nuggets, I'd be very rich. You see? Stop right here with you. Yes. You go to the temple, go to a chapel, go to a tree, go to a rock, go to bed, but don't sleep. And reflect and ponder deeply over what I've shared with you and what you have heard inside. Make it be inside your heart. Don't give it to your mind. It is that important. Watch this I feeling in you. Before the world takes shape, your I is already there. Watch this I. I said before, if you want to have a sense of what we have done with the I feeling principle and converted it into just another concept, go to any restaurant, go to any place where people gather socially or whatever, and listen to their conversation quietly. And see how often they use the word I, me, my, mine. And listen, what is it referring to? What is the I standing up as? Is it personal or impersonal? Is it person or consciousness? What is the I speaking about? About consciousness or about things which are just perishable? Watch that. And you'll have a sense, an indication of when I sense arise in you, how are you spending your I sense? In the field of phenomenality, in the field of the transient? Or is it pulsating in pure grace? You watch him. The mind is inviting you from I to take another step, and I tell you no, stop in this I. Be one with it, look at him, observe, feel. You may feel a lot of I person coming up, so much I person, so much relation, so much relationship, so much projection, so much past, so much nostalgia, so much wishful thinking, so much spiritual projection, so much interpretation. All of this is happening. How will it serve you to wake up? The very thing itself is sleep. It is dreaming because you left your I. You've used it as a switch to see the world. Now you must use it to see yourself. Use the light of the I. So, thank you. From now on, I'm gonna zoom in on each of you and call you to account. I have kept my word, and have you kept your, whatever it is, your okay.
Guruji,
Thank you.
I went one step a little bit more further, if I may.
Let me see if you can go further. Come, okay.
In my case, I was trying to watch the eye or the source like for some time, but my problem was that I was too much engaged with the thoughts, so I didn't find it.
So the eye that was watching is what? If you could not find the eye of the thought, who are you who was trying to find it and failing? What's that? Who receives this advice and can carry it out also even? What is it that receives this advice and can carry it out? The intellect, you may say, or the intelligence of the being is doing it. This is what I mean, watching. This is the real weakness. When I ask you, can the witness to the world, can it itself be witnessed? This you must also take into your cave. Take this question into the cave of your heart and meditate on it. That which you see in the world, that is engaged, whatever is engaged with the world, you know, can it be identified? Can it be observed? And if it can be observed, by what can it be observed? And your answers cannot be theoretical or mental. So are you up for it?
Yes.